This is our history round, Susanna.
Thank you.
It's the only one we have all week, so enjoy it. I'm going to give you a series of events from history, things that happened. You just have to write down the year in which you think they happened, and whoever is closest wins a point. Here's the first one. Write me down a year for this, please. The Communist Manifesto by Marx and Engels is first published. In what year was that, please?
Oh.
What do you reckon at home on this? The Communist Manifesto. Jasmine, what are your thoughts?
I've gone for 1899.
1899? Doesn't sound crazy.
It was really a stab in the dark. I'm sure I studied it at one point in my A-level sociology, but I can't remember.
Exactly that. I even did it at a degree, and I'm still like, 1899 says Jasmine. Jason, where have you gone?
I'm also going to hold my hands up as a politics graduate at Swansea University.
I know.
Having studied Engels, to my university professors, I apologise.
1858. Susanna, is this your area of history at all?
No, this is far too recent. But I've put 1838. I've had misgivings after I put it because I've been thinking, actually, I think the 1840s, the Hungry 40s, probably made them write it. So I think perhaps it's a bit early, but...
OK, so all in the 19th century. Here, Dave, where are you?
I think I'm too far into the future. I think it was when they discovered time travel and they went into the future.
You're saying...
1918.
1918. So all the way from 1831 to 1918, what have you got at home on this one? Shall we find out when was it published and who scored the first point of the round? 1848. Jason and Susanna both get a point.
Yeah. Well done, Susanna. I'm so glad I got up for those 8:30 lectures.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who would have thought, 20-odd years later, they'd come back to
Who would have
help
thought
me?
education would pay off? Next question. When did this happen, please? Rome is sacked by the Visigoths.
You know how I said that anything before 1700 was my period?
You've also
Turns out
got
there's a start date as well, yeah.
I was going to ask. Historians are the only people I allow to say this is before my time. OK, everyone is in. What do you think at home? Jason, what's your thinking here?
I've just gone for 528 BC.
BC.
Oh, that's interesting.
Why not?
Why not?
Susanna, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think Jason might be onto something. I know that my friends who are classicists are going to be shouting at me, 250 BC.
Ooh. 250. They'll also be shouting at you for saying BC instead of BCE.
BCE, I know.
That's what they like before Common Era.
That's true.
Dave, where are you?
132 BC.
132 BC. We're all BC at the moment.
Except
for
me. No, I've gone completely.
Okay, 1509. Why not? The good news is those historians have stopped shouting at you, Susanna.
Yeah, this is...
But it might be.
That was a Doctor Who episode.
What was I actually thinking?
You were actually thinking about Charles V sacking Rome in the 1520s.
I don't know what I was...
Yes.
Maybe that's...
Yes.
Of course, that's...
Yes.
Thank you for
There you
reminding
go.
me of that.
Exactly
That's exactly what I was
of.
thinking. I think I was confused.
So we're 3 BCs and we're 1 AD. What do you think at home? What have you got for this? Let's find out, shall we? When was Rome sacked by the Visigoths and who has scored a point? 410.
Oh.
Wow.
The point goes to Dave. Very well done. Nicely played.
Dave.
Wow.
How about that? There you go, 410. Well done if you were AD, but not that much AD. That's what we were looking for. Final question in this round. In which year did this happen, please? The UK's first policewoman is appointed. OK, everyone's in. Susanna, what are your thoughts?
I have gone with surprisingly late. My mother was in the police force in the 70s, and I know that there was still quite a divide in terms of who did what and how women were treated. And so made me think maybe perhaps it was relatively recent. So I put 1959.
1959. Dave, what are you thinking?
I've gone for 1932.
1932. Thank you for the voice as well. Thank you for the 1932 voice.
You're welcome.
I forget, of course, these days you're not a comedian, you're an actor.
No, yeah, I am.
And I forget your range sometimes. We've got 50s, we've got 30s. Jasmine?
I've gone for 1915.
1915.
And do you know the reason I went a bit earlier is because I thought it might have even been before women got to vote, because they might have needed female police officers for certain crimes or certain things. So I went...
But also...
I went...
First World War and all the...
Yeah, I went early,
police
but...
officers must have... That makes some sense. Jason, what do you think?
Well, I've just gone 60s.
1968.
I've gone 68.
Says Jason. So with 30s, 50s, 60s and the 10s. Do you call them the 10s, Suzanne, as an historian? What do you call the...
Teens?
The teens, sure. You don't know. You can just say, I don't know. Or the teens we got there. What do you think of home on this one? First female police officer appointed in the UK. Let's find out the answer and who scored a point.
Wow.
Whoa!
Oh, my goodness!
Not just a point, but 2 points.
I get 2
That's
points.
for being bang on.
Oh,
Yeah, you
wow!
That is terrific.
Wow, 1915.
Your logic was really good. I thought that through.
Amazing.
Beginner's luck, maybe.
In Grantham, Lincolnshire, 1915, Edith Smith.
Edith Smith,
There you go.
Edith.
Very good end to the round for Jasmine there, 2 points. Here's your first one. What year did this happen, please? Harvard, the oldest institution of higher learning in the US, is founded. In what year was that? What do you think at home on this one? It's a tricky one, isn't it?
Very.
I should point out at this stage, I know 2 people on this panel did a degree in textile and fashion. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I think
No.
Esme and Simon?
No.
Oh, what was it? What was
Graphics I did.
You did graphics. So a degree in graphics, degree in textiles and fashion.
Yeah.
Graduated drama school.
Yeah.
Somebody on this thing, though, has a degree in history from Cambridge.
Honestly, do not expect much from me.
Our friend Ashley here. So listen, we're just going to sit back
Yeah.
and enjoy.
No, honestly.
Yeah.
Over-promising
Ashley.
there. I do not remember anything from my degree.
Is everyone in?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ashley, sorry, I set you up there.
Honestly, bit of a stab in the dark. 1625.
1625.
Wow.
Logic is Cambridge is, I think, around 700 or so years old. So I'm assuming that a US institution would have come a couple of
Later.
100 years later.
Wow.
1625. Esme, what was your thinking?
1899.
1899, you're saying big difference of opinion here.
Definitely.
275 odd years. Claire, where are you on this?
I initially thought 1807, then I thought, oh no, that's just too old. And I changed it to 1907.
1907.
But I really think 1807, but I've got to what's on that, haven't I?
But listen, we're in 3 completely different centuries here.
Yeah.
Simon, are we in 4 different centuries?
Yes.
No, I wanted to start with the 17, but I bottled it, so I went early 18. So I've gone 1803.
1803, which is roughly where Claire was wishing she'd gone. So we're everywhere from 1625 all the way to 1907. What have you got at home on this one? Shall we find out the answer and see who's scored a
please.
point? The answer is...
Won't be me.
1636.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Ashley, how about that?
Yes, so the logic paid off.
11 years out. Founded by a Puritan minister.
Oh, wow.
In 1636. Very well played. Ashley, the next thing I'd like a date for is this, please. The first MRI scan on a live human is performed.
First MRI scan on a live.
Everyone is in. This is an interesting one. What have you gone with, Esme?
I bet it's earlier than I've put.
Yeah.
Because it's like one of those things. You think
sometimes.
it's really modern. Anyway, I put 1936.
Yeah, that sounds... Yeah, I wouldn't know where I'd go on this one, but that doesn't sound crazy to me. 1936. Claire, what have you said?
I'm in the same territory here. I've done 1922.
1922. Simon, where are you?
I've gone a bit earlier. I've gone 1911.
1911. We're sort of knocking off 10 years or so each time. Ashley.
Don't have a clue, but I'm thinking after the Second World War.
Interesting. Always lots of technological advances
Yes,
after
that's
a
big.
war.
And I wonder when X-rays started.
Yeah.
So we're in the 10s, the 20s, the 30s and the 40s. An MRI scan. When was the first one performed? Let's find out, shall we, and see who scored a point. 1970.
Wow.
Isn't that funny? We all bamboozled ourselves. Like
Yeah.
it thinks it'll be much
Earlier than we
earlier
imagined.
than we think. The first Men's Cricket World Cup is held.
Do you know this one, Steve?
No, do you?
No. Quite old. It's quite an old game.
Well, it's not going to be 11:43.
No.
I think that's for sure.
Promise?
Yes, I promise.
I'll rule that one out.
Yeah, that's ruled out. Narrows it down, doesn't it?
Do you think it was after the escalator or before the escalator?
I definitely think it was one of those, yeah. I don't think it's exactly the same time as the escalator, if that's the question you're asking me.
OK.
OK, everyone's in. Charlie, what have you said?
I went for 1900.
1900, says Charlie. John, what are you thinking?
I've gone for the same year as the overture.
1812. Well, there are overs in cricket. Stephen, what have you gone with?
So I've gone for 1933.
And a lovely picture of a bat and a ball.
Nice bat and a ball, just in the hopes it'll just get me some goodwill from you.
Ria, what are you saying?
I decided to go for 1867.
1867.
Because there was enough time, because, you know, British Empire brought cricket to the world in order for there to be a World Cup.
Yeah.
There was enough time for them to get tea back from India for the tea break.
Right, OK, yeah.
And so this is sort of firmly...
Well, there's a lot going on there.
Well, I mean, there's a lot going on in cricket. It takes days.
Absolutely right. So we've got everything from 1812 to 1933. Do you want my opinion?
Yes.
I think it's in the 1960s.
Wow.
Really?
That's my opinion. The first World Cup. Let's find out. The first Men's Cricket World Cup is held in... 1975.
Blimey.
Do I get a point?
Oh,
Fabulous!
The William Wordsworth poem, I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud, is first published. So when was Wordsworth? Really? What do you think at home on this one? Have a little think. Mike, what were you thinking here?
I went Victorian. I went 1857.
1857,
yeah.
Says Mike. Maggie, what are you saying?
Actually, not far off. I was thinking of that sort of era, 1869.
Very similar. Cariad, what have you said?
I couldn't remember if he was Victorian or Georgian.
Yeah.
So I've gone for 1792.
1792, you're saying.
I couldn't remember.
And Gareth?
Well, my wife is an English teacher, but that means nothing. But I've gone for 1870.
OK, so three very similar ones and then Cariad.
I think I might be wrong.
18th century.
I couldn't remember.
Well, we'll find out, shall we? What have you written at home? What have you got there? Let's find out when was that published and who has scored a point? 1807. Cariad.
Well done.
Well done, Cariad.
It was pre-Jane Austen time, that's what I was thinking.
Nicely played. Next one. I wonder when this happened, please. The first zebra crossing is officially installed in Slough. That's more like it. That's the first zebra crossing anywhere in the world.
Oh, wow, and it was in Slough?
It was in Slough, yeah. I once had to... I told an American that our crossing things were called a zebra crossing. And they said in America, of course, they're just crossing points. And she said, well, what do you call a crossing guard? And I said, well, that's a lollipop lady. And at that point, she just went... So, yeah, zebra crossing, lollipop lady, you're setting me up for a...
Pelican.
Yeah. Yes. That was a pelican crossing. What do we think on this one? That's an interesting one, isn't it? First zebra crossing. Everyone in?
Yeah.
Low confidence.
Yeah. You know, the good one about this, though, is no one's going to look stupid.
Yeah, nobody
because,
knows.
You know, it sort of could be at any time. Maggie, what do you think?
Well, I was trying to work out if they had zebra crossings for coaches, but I'm assuming they didn't.
Yeah.
So I'm saying for motor cars. So I put 1932, which might be a little late.
Don't know, but it sounds... Yeah.
Plausible.
Sounds plausible. Listen, that's all we can ask for in life, isn't it? Is to sound plausible now and again. Cariad, what have you said?
I feel like we didn't do much safety for quite a while. So I put 1954.
1954.
I feel like no one cared for ages.
Gareth?
Well, I reasoned that we had cars around in the 19th century, end of the 19th century, and few people probably got run over in Slough, notoriously dangerous place with its roundabout systems. So I've gone for 1910. 1910, interesting, gone the earliest of all. And Mike, where are you?
Similar, Cariad, 552.
Yeah.
As long as it was before Abbey Road, basically. That's all I know.
That's the first document.
Exactly, yeah.
Crossing.
Photographic evidence.
So in 1910 all the way up to 1954. What do you think at home on this one, the first zebra crossing? We know where it was. That's Slough. But when was it? 1951.
Oh, you just have it.
Wow.
Well done.
That's amazing. I would have been 1910, that sort of area.
We didn't care about safety for a long time.
Yeah, we didn't, did we?
No.
But they look quite cool. So maybe they just sort of thought, this will
I
look
think they
nice.
probably just had a bit of spare white paint knocking about.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
But not enough. So,
let's do a big white thing, and they go, we have literally run out of paint.
Stagger it, mate, stagger it.
Maybe economical.
Mike, you so nearly found yourself on the end of 2 points there.
I know,
I'd give you 2 if you were bang on. Can you imagine?
Would you have done?
Yeah.
Golly, there's something to dwell on, isn't
Isn't it? Just something to think about. Beatrix Potter's The Tale of Peter Rabbit is first published privately before being commercially sold a year later. It does feel like one we might have a better shot at than the previous one.
You say that.
OK, everyone is in here. Yasmin, what are you thinking here?
I thought 1936.
1936. Ingrid, what are your thoughts?
Well, very similar. 1935.
1935.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if she was after the Second World War or between the wars, so I've gone...
Well, that is
same as
definitely
Yasmin.
between the wars. Stephen, where are you here?
I have played a rabbit, but in a different rabbit franchise.
Which rabbit were you?
I played Bigwig in Watership Down.
Oh!
But so I'm going to go 1928.
1920. Because of that?
Because of that.
I'm going 1928, but we're all...
My little rabbit heart is beating.
Yeah, we're all in a similar era. Tom, are we in a similar era?
Well, I mean, does it count the same era?
Yeah, I think
it's the same century.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's clearly not right.
What do you think at home on this one? When was it published? Let's find out. This is who scored a point. Oh! 1901. Well done, Tom.
I'm sorry for reacting like that. It just reveals how much I want to get it right, isn't it?
Good.
There's that 1 second after an answer, you're like, no, I'm cool, I don't care.
Wait, is it me?
Whatever, another point, whatever.
Got loads of them.
Yeah.
Edward the Confessor becomes King of England. I mean... What do you think at home? Do you know this one? Ian, what have you gone for here?
1773, and I had another go at a plane.
That's really good. Sian, what have you said?
I just put numbers
great.
on an iPad.
1638.
Yeah.
What are we saying, Rav?
Similar mindset to Sian. I was thinking, I've gone very early, 1592.
I don't think you've gone that early.
Because there was no number after the Edward, so I thought he must be the earliest, if
The
not.
original Edward.
Yeah, the original. So
the OG,
I thought, and if I saw that in a history book, I wouldn't doubt it. So I went for 1592.
Exactly, 1592. Jean, where are you?
I'm just bad at dating, so...
1889. Wow, we're really... Yeah, OK. Interesting. When did Edward Confessor become King of England?
Oh,
1042.
Oh, wow.
Rav, you are 550 years out, and I'm giving you a point.
And you're the winner.
That's what I love about this round. None of us knows anything. The first Tour de France takes place. It's interesting. In what year did that happen? I'm going to play along with this one, because I like the Tour de France. Those other two, you were very much on your own. I was leaving you to it. This one, I'd have a crack. What do you think at home on this one? OK. Evelyn, what do you think on this one?
I always get this mixed up because I'm Swedish, and for Sweden we say 19th when it is 19.
Oh, really? Do you?
Yeah.
Oh,
but
that's cool.
English is 20, so it was... I always think early 20th century, but I think probably it was invented a little bit before that.
OK.
So I'm putting myself at 1870.
1870,
Yeah.
says Evelyn. Yeah, you're thinking not a million miles from mine, actually. Toby, what are you thinking here?
Oh, well, I was thinking the first Olympic Games were 1896. But I don't think there was cycling in there.
Interesting.
There wouldn't have been bicycles. Was there a wheel then? I don't know. Had that been invented?
Was there a wheel in 1896?
So I've gone 1958.
1958, says Toby. Big difference of opinion so far. Joe, what are you going for?
I went 1874. I like to believe that it was penny farthings as well.
Got you, 1874. Very close to Evelyn's answer. Yeah. Kerry?
See, I was thinking about penny farthings, but to do a tour on those, that's madness. So the bike would have had to sort of, like, you know, go up a bit more. So I went for 1922.
1922, says Kerry. What do you think at home? Let's find out, shall we? Who has scored a point? When did the first Tour de France take place? 1903. Kerry, you get yourself a point. Well done.
Thank you.
In which year did Big Ben first ring in Westminster?
Man.
This is the round I'm most happy I don't play.
OK.
Because it's just like, oh...
This is just where I embarrass myself, right?
Everyone in?
Yeah.
Natasha, what were you thinking here?
I was trying to remember, there's an idea that Big Ben was named after a boxer called Bendigo because he was so big. So it's probably foolish. I've gone 19th century.
OK.
I've gone George III, 1809.
1809. I
think I'm way late.
Where are you?
So I was a bit more forward from that one. 1880?
1880. Eddie, what are you thinking?
So I went for 1908.
1908. Charlie, what are you thinking?
I've gone for...
1680.
I've gone
Charlie's
early.
gone early, yeah, absolutely. Why not? Let's find out, shall we? When did Big Ben first ring and who scored our first point? 1859. Faye, you get the point. Very well done.
By default, thank you very much.
Very nicely played. Well done if you got close to that at home. Next year we're looking for is... Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay are the first people to reach the summit of Mount Everest. In what year did that happen, please? OK, everyone's in. What do you think at home on this one? Faye, what were you thinking?
So I was thinking, would you have the right sort of equipment and sort of what period would they have something to be able to sustain
Go that high,
the journey and I have no idea, but I said 1908.
1908 says Faye. Eddie, what are you saying?
It would have taken a lot of people would have tried.
Yes.
And kept trying.
Kept trying.
Kept trying.
Yeah.
And they finally got there.
It's like Everest, isn't it?
In 1952.
1952, says Eddie. Charlie, what are your thoughts?
In my head, I was thinking between the wars, is what I was thinking. So I've gone for a bold 1926.
1926. Natasha, what are you thinking?
I was thinking interwar as well. I'm not sure, but I've said 1932.
1932. Let's find out, shall we? What do you think at home on this one? When did Hillary and Norgay reach the summit of Mount Everest? Who scored a point? Eddie Caddy. How about that?
Nice.
Well done. I would have gone for 1952. I'd have gone for the same as you. I'm tempted. Should we give him 2 points for that? Or
I think it's
so
a two-pointer, that one.
Do you think it's a two-pointer?
It's a two-pointer, guys. It's a two-pointer.
2 points.
I'll return the favour at some point.
2 points to Eddie Caddy. Well played, Eddie. Nicely done. In what year was Greek philosopher Aristotle born? When was Aristotle born?
Rob, straight in.
Yeah, because
I
don't know.
I think even Rob might be struggling here. When was Aristotle born?
God, no idea. Aristotle. Clever.
Jane, any idea here?
I mean, I think it's before Christ, so it's BC.
It's not recent, is it? That's for sure.
Yeah, so I've sort of only done 150 years before Christ.
OK.
So I've gone up 150 BC.
150 BC, says Jane. Catcher, what are you saying? 1400.
Great, isn't it?
Catcher. It's a
2
year.
in the afternoon.
It's a year.
Should have said 2 in the afternoon.
Toughers.
I'm along sort of the same lines as Jane, before Christ, but...
200 BC. And Rob?
Yeah, I think ancient Rome comes after ancient Greece, doesn't it? I mean, not ancient, that's when the gods are. Anyway, it's Greece then Rome, but I went longer. I went 2000 BC.
2000 BC.
I went a long way.
2000, around the Bronze Age.
I don't think that's...
There was in the Bronze Age, there were some smart guys around.
Oh, for sure. Was Aristotle one of them? So 2000, we got 200, we got 150, and we got 1400.
Great.
From Catcher. What do you think at home? Where have you gone on this? When was Aristotle born and who scored a point? 384 BC. Phil, you're closest. Phil.
Very good.
Bad luck.
Nice
in there
done.
Somewhere.
Well played. In there somewhere. Yeah. The monarchy is restored following the English Civil War.
I've got no idea.
Yeah.
Oh.
I can't.
We apologise. We might as well call this round, we apologise to the history teachers of Britain.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
OK, everyone is in. What do you think at home on this one? Neil, any ideas here?
No, not really. I was thinking, after Henry VIII at some point, Roundheads, Cavaliers, English Civil War, fancy hats.
You're just going back to school. Just going,
exactly. What was that? So I settled on the 18th century in 1722.
1722, says Neil. Hannah, what are you saying?
I just wrote down a number.
1640. Well, listen, I can confirm that's a number.
Thank you very much. I got that bit right.
Yeah. Reese.
The only thing that was going through my head was Cromwell. Cromwell. And I kind of went, after Henry VIII as well, I think. So I went 1615.
1615.
Quarter past 4.
And Penny?
I went wrong, first of all.
1611.
I thought about... I kind of accidentally went War of the Roses.
Okay.
And then suddenly read the question properly. I mean, Queen Elizabeth I died 1601, and then it was James I, and then and it was after that, wasn't it?
Spoiler.
Yeah, get you.
No, that's the only thing I can remember. No, don't ask me about anything else.
So 1611, 1615, 1640, 1722.
Yeah,
do you feel a bit better about your answer now?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Yeah.
Quite proud of that, yes.
Let's find out. When was the monarchy restored? Who scored a point? 1660. Hannah gets the point.
What did I see it?
Charles II. Well done, Hannah. That's the way this round works. The next thing I'd like you to date is this, please. The first Formula One Championship Grand Prix is held at Silverstone.
Blimey.
I don't think this is 1660.
No.
What do you think at home on this one? Is this a specialist area as well? Hannah, what are you thinking here?
1965.
1965, says Hannah. Reese, you've gone earlier or later than that?
Earlier. I've gone 1952.
1952, yeah, that sounds reasonable. Penny, what are you thinking? 1959. So again, we're not too far away from each other here. Neil?
I went earlier.
Did you?
Yeah, I was thinking post-World War I, really, between the wars, when you see those old, pre-Stirling Moss and those kind of people who were there, Fangio, et cetera, because they had to have something to go forward.
Yeah, they were racing something.
And so I went with 1922.
1922, and Brum Brum.
And Brum Brum.
Yeah, so I knew what you were talking about.
And I am from the Midlands.
So there you go. So we're all the way from 1922 to 1965. What do you think on this one? Let's find out, shall we? In what year did that happen? Who scored a point? 1950 is the answer. Reese, very well played.
Yeah!
Nicely done.